Hey friends, in today's video I want to talk about how over time lost sectors have been less and less profitable and not a great way of farming exotics. As it stands currently, it is the best way to farm exotics, but it's just disrespectful to a player's time when, look on the screen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's check that again. 13 gauntlets on Titan, so that's a 1 out of 13 chance to get what you want if you want gauntlets on Titan. Well, that definitely seems better than a Nightfall giving you 1 out of any type of exotic on a class, so that could be 1 out of 40 plus. The RNG is bad enough where it could be an eternity before you see the exotic you want, let alone with a stat split that's acceptable, let alone a stat split that is good, let alone a stat split that is amazing. As of the last couple seasons, build crafting in Destiny 2 is a lot more intricate, so these stat splits matter a lot when creating endgame builds that deviate from the meta. They pretty much have to be close to perfect in order to perform well. So, as a result, if you want to use off-meta things, you are in the sector for multiple hours. You're in the sector more than you're playing the content. Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoy lost sectors. I enjoy the difficulty spikes on Master. I just don't think Master is efficient if we're talking the reward. It has been theorized that on Legend, the drop rate is 20%, and on Master, the drop rate is 25%. The problem is, Legend is significantly faster to complete, so you're getting more lottery pools, more slot machine pools to get your exotic, than if you were to do Master, even though it's a slightly better chance. So overall, Legend is better, which means it's boring. I should mention that the alternative Grandmaster Nightfalls also can give Adept weapons, so maybe you're farming out the Adept weapon and you accidentally get the exotic that you want, so maybe that could be respectful of your time. But overall, we have so many new exotics added to the game that the RNG just doesn't add up for the amount of time and effort put into these lost sectors. I hope that by Lightfall or in the future, a new alternative is created, a way to target farm exotics. My recommended method is that not every lost sector is built equal. As you can see by the background gameplay, you can fly through this and get it done in 30 seconds to about a minute, which is a lot faster than most lost sectors. I was doing yesterday's quarry in about a minute, but you could also do that one in 30 seconds if you just use Galahorn and fly forward. So 30 seconds to a minute are the competitive ones. About a minute and 30 are the ones that aren't really worth your time. And the ones that are 2 minute on Legend are definitely not worth your time. But sometimes they kind of have an auto scroller section, so you might as well do it on Master. There's only a handful where it is more time efficient to do them on Master. So what I propose for the future in Lightfall is that either the loot pool of a harder lost sector has more desirable exotics so that there's less exotics in the pool, meaning you're more likely to get the good exotic, and the easier, more efficient lost sectors have the worse exotics in there, but again, less of them, so you get exactly what you want. Another alternative could be across the entire game and not just limited to lost sector. Think like a Nightfall card or something you buy from Xur that lets you target farm an exotic out of any activity in the game. Maybe that would be too powerful. Maybe you need endgame materials to charge up that item. Look, I got an exotic off the floor in the background. But there's a lot of creative solutions that could be done, and I'm just really making this video to say that something should be done because it's really hard to recommend a build to a friend and not have them come out with the exotic they want, let alone a decent one, after multiple hours. Normally when I talk about systems that could respect a player's time, there's always someone arguing that they like the slot machine in the RNG pool. So how would I make it so that lost sectors are still relevant? My answer is I would go the Phantasy Star method and start putting leaderboards in the game. AKA, if you're holding a top spot for the new Grandmaster difficulty, you get awarded just a small chunk of bright dust for being on the top of the leaderboard, a smaller chunk for being in the top 10, and a slightly smaller chunk for being in the top 100. There, you have a reason to grind for it now, even if you own everything in the game. Okay, now let's get some generic tips for lost sectors. The first tip is to log on to Stadia or the Epic Game Store, or just somewhere you don't play and don't own any of the expansions. Therefore, you are limiting your loot pool. You cannot get, for example, a Beyond Light exotic if you don't own Beyond Light. So instead of it being 1 out of 13, it could be 1 out of 7, and that's going to significantly help your cause. I mean, that is if you want to put up with the input delay and the resolution that Stadia has. As you can see from the background gameplay, it looks significantly different, so I chose a slightly simpler strat than just flying forward with Galahorn, which is my next tip. Don't overthink the modifiers, don't overthink the burn, just throw on Galley and fly forward. That is usually the high-end strategy for most of these lost sectors. Not even kidding. My next tip is for those that can plan their play sessions. Go to a website like todayindestiny.com and look at the Lost Sector calendar or some other place that has a Lost Sector calendar and choose the faster Lost Sectors to farm, even if it's not the correct armor piece. Like, for example, if you really want gauntlets and it's a chest day, farm the fast Lost Sector anyway, but do it when you have a full engram inventory so that the exotic is sent to your postmaster. Then you wait till I believe the Legend Lost Sector is of the day and turn in all those exotics. And if the Legend Lost Sector of the day is arms and you wanted arms, well, now those exotic engrams in the postmaster will turn into arms. So by combining this with the Stadia method and doing only the fast ones, your playtime can become a lot more efficient and you spend less hours pulling the slot machine lever, getting back to the content that you enjoy inherently. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was thought-provoking, and if you resonate with these ideas, please signal boost it so that maybe in Lightfall we could get a better system.